You'll have to excuse my voice. I have been streaming for the past 10 hours on this game, and it was lots of fun. I started as a level 209, by the way. And yeah, I'm almost 215, which is crazy. So in this video, boys, I will be teaching you how to beat the brand new Yokai Peaks dungeon. And as someone who has a frick ton of experience with this dungeon, there ain't no one else that'll be able to carry you harder than what I can. Well, okay, that's a stretch. So I'm gonna show you through every single attack, how to counter it, how to dodge it, and some good strategies for being able to dodge them. And I'll also be giving you some good strategies on how to be able to dodge the bosses and take care of them and to just kind of set yourself up for success in them. So, without further ado, here's a quick shout out to my members, which by the way is thank you, cuties. Now let's begin. Okay, so in this dungeon, there are many different mobs and many different bosses. Unlike with the previous dungeons, this dungeon has randomized boss attacks. It's actually kind of insane. So as we go along, I'm gonna try my best to explain them. So let's do it, boys. So to start off with this room, I would highly recommend activating your inner and then running straight through these mobs. After you get through here, start cycling them. This is insane, so it's gonna be a little bit easier. Same thing for here. Come along through here. Run right through the gaps of mobs here and just start cycling them. Make sure to tell your teammates to cycle along with you. Like for instance, if you're moving off to the left, you're the aggro. Make sure they're moving off in the left at the same time, so no one takes any damage. These guys just aggro. Use your inner or your speed spell. Sidestep off to the left side, and you should be chilling there. Now, Tatuo is going to be kind of hard. There are several different attacks you need to pay attention to. But before you do anything else, don't charge up in there. Come up to the top of the stairs and hit him once from here. You can get one tick of damage off before he activates his iframes, so be advised about that. So Tatuo has, I believe, 5 or 6 different attacks. The first one is a slam attack. Although he did his laser attack, this one's pretty easy. All you have to do to dodge this is just stand in one spot. And if you can, try to not die, and also pay attention to where the laser is spinning at. Occasionally, Tatuo will jump up in the air and do this. These bubbles will absolutely destroy you because they do about 1 billion damage per, and it is quite painful. Also, stay away from people. This is a slam attack. You can just stand right outside of the red line attack, as you can see here, and be just fine. This attack is pretty easy. All you have to do is stay towards the outside. And if you'll do it, we got one more attack we want to talk about. He has a totem attack, and it looks like we're not going to be able to show it to you. But basically, Tatuo will occasionally spawn totems in the arena, and there will be like this massive whirlpool here in the center that'll also spawn mobs. Tatuo will be completely invincible at this point. What you'll want to do is you'll want to take out the totems and also not get destroyed by the mobs because the mobs can root you and hold you in place just like the aggressive lava walkers from volcanic chambers. So don't die. Once you get them, Tatuo will then be able to be hit again and everything will be good. Hey, just jumping in here real quick to say that if you're enjoying the video, then make sure to not only like it, but also subscribe for more. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before the year 2024 ends. So if you haven't, make sure to subscribe and like the video because that just helps me out a fudge ton. Thank you! Alright, let's get back into it. These are shadow enemies. The second kind of enemy you'll encounter here. In order to aggro and attack this room without necessarily dying, just run into the room. Don't hit them until the mobs actually throw their barrels, because there is a chance that the mobs will be able to hit you with the bubble, even though you'll be moving beforehand. So just run on in, tell your teammates to stand back. And as they stand back and you aggro all the barrels, run on in, cycle off to the side, make sure all the hit radiuses are not going to destroy your team or kill yourself, and everything will be good. For this room, it's a little bit tricky. You're going to want to stay towards the left side of the stairwell, and as you run up, you're going to activate your inner and just aggro every single one of the barrels. Again, making sure that your teammates don't run into it. Also, be careful, the tombstones and some of the trees and some of the mushrooms and some of the foliage in the entire dungeon can be clipped on, so be cognizant of where you're walking. Sandor the Bloodthirsty. So to basically nullify most of the attacks, if you're running with multiple people, you're gonna want to run in, hit him, sidestep, and just keep your distance. If you keep your distance from Sandor at all times, there is a good chance he can't hit you with at least the majority of his attacks. Pay attention to where, specifically in this attack, pay attention to where the bright red lines are, and you will be okay. For that slam attack there, all you have to do is wait for him to start jumping, activate your inner, and then just sidestep in between the prongs of the star. This is an anti-healing attack. In order to prevent yourself from dying and getting absolutely destroyed, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run over to the green circle over here and touch it. You have to stand inside of it for a split second, and once you do that, you will not have anti-heal anymore. The problem is, not only will that anti-heal you, but it will also do damage to you. And as you can see, he also has a laser attack that can target up to 3 people at one time. This attack is super easy to dodge, just keep moving in one direction. So in the initial recording of this video, I actually completely missed one attack that will absolutely destroy you. So I figured I'd just hop in here real quick just to kind of tell you about it. So Sandor has one more attack, and let's see if we can get it to be activated. It is a small little dot attack. A bunch of small little dots will spawn very suddenly in the arena and will absolutely destroy if you're not paying attention. Oh, there it is. As you can tell, that's super quick. All you got to do is just pay attention to where they're coming from and just be mindful of that. It's completely randomized, so just keep your eyes open, all right, boys? Once you get his HP down and you've chilled around the perimeter of the arena, which is something I actually recommend you do for Sandor, I usually run around the entire arena and just kind of run back, depending on where Sandor is on the arena at all times. And that's worked out flawlessly for me. So, third room, Oni mobs. So if you are the aggro, you're going to want to hit the mobs and step off to the side, because these guys, the mages, they have a fudge ton of range. They will snipe you if you are not paying attention. Now, the warlords, or the shogun, I guess these guys would be called. These guys are incredibly easy to dodge, and they're not really an issue. Just make sure to not get caught on any items you can clip on, like, for instance, the armor here. So just be cognizant of where the mages are aiming at, and you'll be completely fine. But when you get up to the room right before we're gonna call it the last boss, funny, you can actually hit these two groups of enemies basically in one group, even with both Blade Barrage and Jade Rain. I would recommend going mage for this, and for the last group of enemies, just aggro, hit them, kill them, that's no problem. Honestly, the mobs are really not that threatening in this dungeon, so don't let them pressure you. All right, Commander Leon Naru. This guy has several different attacks that are pretty crafty. If you aggro the boss and you try walking outside of the arena, and this is for every single boss, by the way, you will start taking damage. Here's an example of this. I gotta walk outside the arena, and I will have these arrows attacking me. So make sure to stay on the arena at all times. Leon Naru's attacks are mainly these lines and these grid pattern attacks that you need to be careful of. As you can see, here's the arrows from a little bit ago. These will absolutely mess you up if you're not paying attention. But as you can see here, this is a fireball. These fireballs are basically mini nukes, and if you're not careful, you can absolutely destroy your team and kill your team and end the run. So there's two ways you can get rid of the fireballs. Oh yeah, and by the way, these lasers do a very small amount of damage. They probably will need a buff, but they're super easy to dodge. Don't let them pressure you. It's like 20 million damage. Fireball. There are two ways you can prevent this. One, you can run around the arena like a mad lad for 20 seconds and it'll automatically despawn. Or alternatively, you can use these for your benefit and do some damage to Leon Naru. If you put Leon Naru between you and the fireball, it will do a little bit of damage to him and make the run a little bit faster. So once you kill Leon Naru, congratulations, you beat Yokai Peaks. Let's go ahead and finish this run here. Congratulations, you beat Yokai Peaks. Is what I would say if you were actually done. For the first time in Dungeon Quest history, there is a mandatory fourth boss. How dare you take my chicken nuggies, mother? You know I like my chicken nuggies. You can have the dino nuggies. I don't like them. Welcome to the fourth boss, Sarugami. And this guy has a lot of attacks that I'm probably not going to be able to cover. One of the first attacks that he does is a slam attack that has a bit of a concussion. He also has another small red circle concussion, and this, which ultimately is kind of like a 3-stage attack. Those orange lines do a lot of damage, by the way. Saru also has that laser attack that you just saw. That is super easy. If you get close to Sarugami, there's no problems. There's also a ton of little mobs in this arena. This guy right here is a nuke. You can tell he is a nuke because of the fact that there is a tether to player. So for Sarugami, a nice little strategy that you can use in order to prevent yourself from getting killed too much is by standing on the outskirts of the arena. Also, when Sarugami goes to about a half HP, he will start to move around and will start charging at players, so keep your eyes open for that. As you just saw, two of these players here, Rice and Shadow, two of the guys that have been running like a lot tonight, they got a star pattern on them. What that means is that there is going to be a bubble of damage that will appear on you. And yes, you can see it just happened to me there as well. All you gotta do is just make sure that you're moving beforehand. Dungeon Quest, never stop moving or else you'll die. So with this anti-healing, by the way, as you can see, I had 3 arrows that were pointing from the front of me. This is the first time that you can actually use a collateral attack that will hurt players. So You can watch where you're pointing at if you have the anti-heal. But honestly, for the times that I've played the game, it is like not that hard to dodge, even if you're not paying attention. So you can worry about it, but it's not that big of a deal, honestly. There is one more attack the Sarugami has. And also, by the way, be careful. These imps will start throwing barrels at you, and it is kind of painful. But there is one more attack that Sarugami has that is very painful and is very dangerous that I actually haven't been able to figure out how to dodge. So basically, Sarugami has basically an arena nuke. Occasionally, he will start banging on the ground like a ton of times, and it will do a lot of damage. You can heal through it on Insane and probably Nightmare as well if you have like a really good healer. And once you kill Sarugami, then you're actually done with the dungeon this time. By the way, if you haven't checked out the previous Dungeon Quest video yet, then make sure to go watch it by clicking on it right here. It was a lot of fun to make, so I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Dismissed?